pieces and we're finished. Suddenly his feet can't stay still, and he does a happy little dance on the table. Poor Clyde. He doesn't know yet that he's nowhere near finished. Chapter 1. Clyde stops doing his happy dance. He's starting to feel sad, which happens quite a lot these days. Mostly at times like this, when he's got the last piece of a jigsaw gripped in his beak, and Jay and Popper are clicking their last pieces into place. And Clyde remembers how the family used to be, all 5 of them around the table doing this together, and now there's only 3. Clyde does a sad half chirp, half sigh. "Rightio," says Popper, looking at Clyde with a sympathetic smile. "What we need now is a budgie to finish the job." These days, Popper says this as they get to the end of each jigsaw. Clyde knows why. It's to cheer him up, which it usually does. Sometimes a bit too much. Sometimes Clyde gets too excited and does a poo on the table. Even when he does, Popper and Jay are amazing, wiping it up and saying kind and gentle things and never getting cross, which, Clyde thinks, is incredible, considering everything else they have to deal with these days. "Here's a budgie," says Jay. "Here's one who can finish the job." He grins at Clyde. "Job," chirps Clyde through a beakful of jigsaw wheel nut. "I'm so lucky," he thinks, having a family like this, so good at cheering you up, even when their own hearts are so worried and sad. Clyde wishes he could thank Jay and Popper for everything, out loud, so they wouldn't have to guess any of the details. Will I ever be able to do that, he wonders, chirp all the human words? Maybe, if I do more practice and beak exercises, and, if necessary, plunge into the dark depths of an angry ocean. Clyde stops, puzzled. Angry ocean, he thinks. Where did that come from? He sees that Popper and Jay are both waiting, smiling and patient, for him to finish the job. But before Clyde can hop onto the jigsaw and click the last piece into place, loud thumps come from the front door of the flat. Clyde spits out the wheel nut. You have to when there are more important things happening. On the other side of the table, Jay is scrambling off his chair. Clyde feels a stab of concern. Look at him, poor kid. Everything he's been through lately, all that disappointment, and his dear freckly face is still hopeful. While Jay hurries over to the front door, Clyde crosses some feathers and makes a wish. "Please," he chirps silently, "when Jay opens the door, please let it be Mum and Dad." Popper is giving a wheezy sigh. "Sorry, matey," he says to Clyde with his usual apologetic nod up towards the ceiling. "Best play it cautious." Clyde doesn't need to be told. He'd be the first to admit that his knowledge of property law is sketchy. But one thing he does know is that in these flats, only pets with 4 legs are allowed, which means no spiders, no slugs, no sharks, and no birds. "Okay, matey," Clyde says to Popper. Clyde flies up as usual to the light shade hanging from the ceiling, drops down inside it and perches out of sight on the switched-off bulb. From below comes the sound of Jay opening the front door. Clyde grips the bulb with his feet and hangs upside down so he can peek out. Jay's shoulders are sagging. Clyde sees why. It wasn't Mum and Dad who were thumping on the door. It's the postie. She hands Jay a letter with a smile and calls good day to Popper, who waves and thanks her for bringing the letter upstairs. Jay closes the door and brings the letter over. Popper looks at the envelope, his face hopeful. Then his shoulders sag too, and he tosses it onto the table without opening it. "Sorry it's not from the government," says Jay. "I think they're really slack." "Thanks, matey," says Popper. They give each other a hug and start talking in quiet, sad voices. Clyde isn't totally sure what a government is, but he's pretty sure that when humans came up with the idea, they would definitely have wanted